Hello, everybody. I am one of your hosts coming to you today from Toronto, where we are experiencing London weather.
And hello, I'm Andy, the other host, coming to you from the United Kingdom, where we are experiencing desert weather. And I'm boiling away here in the studio, but I'm loving it. It's very good. I'd much rather be outside, though.
Very good. Good to see you again, Andy, and welcome everybody to another episode of Tea and Timbits, a podcast about business development to help you prosper. We are going to get into a conversation about mindset today, and we've actually got a few episodes lined up. We'll explain more detail in a moment. So I think it was your turn, or at least you said you had a story that was worth sharing, Andy. So
I do. I'm quite excited to tell this story, actually. It's the first story I've shared from my new work life, so I thought I would bring it into the podcast. Now I have a few months behind me of experience and stories, and something that the listeners may find interesting. This story is it's from I'm going to be a little bit vague about the specifics, but the principle will be applicable. So bear with me. I was doing some work with this punk band, and they are going on a big tour. They're still on the tour, but they wanted some help with their sort of tour merchandise and planning and things like that. And one of the things that that the band wanted to do was actually have this very high-priced item on the tour merchandise, and it was a leather jacket, proper classic old school studded leather jacket with the big spikes and everything, band logo and everything, and all that sort of stuff. So proper classic, full on. But the problem is they're very expensive items, right? So even if you buy them cheap, which they were able to do, they're still expensive, and still expensive compared to what people are used to paying on the normal merchandise tour table. So I kind of advised them that this was not really a smart approach to go for, because they're not a big band. They've got a dedicated following, but they're not big. They're not one of the big names. So they have a small but dedicated following. I thought it was a bit of a risk to go off and buy and get prepared and printed and embroidered some of these leather jackets. And it is true that the first 10 events, they didn't sell any because they were just too expensive. Nobody wanted to buy them. They thought they were cool. The fans were going, oh, they're really cool. And then they saw how much they were and they didn't want to buy them. So what we did is we came up with an idea. And the idea was that we would do a social media campaign where we would get the fans to tell a story about their experience with the band, with accompanying with a photo of them wearing some of the merchandise. Right? And then we explained that as part of this story thing, if you were wearing one of the leather jackets in your story and your story was selected, then you would also win a backstage pass to meet the band at the next gig in your hometown. Right? So all of a sudden, everybody wanted to buy one of these leather jackets because, like I say, it's a dedicated following. They're very passionate about the band. And then we started getting a lot of inquiries through the web shop. Can we buy this? Can we buy this? And we were like, well, it's a limited number. You're only supposed to buy them at the show. But if you commit to combining it with the social media interaction, and you link in to the band, then we'll be willing to sell it to you. So they actually sold out on the jackets.
Amazing.
And so they went from having jackets that were not selling at all to jackets that were sold out. And then there's a demand for those jackets because people want to get those backstage passes to meet with the band and to do this stuff. The reason I'm telling you this story is not just because, it's a success story from, a failure to a success. It's because it doesn't matter what it is that you're selling. It's about the experience that you give the customer when they buy that product.
Yes. And that is so applicable across the board.
Correct. Yeah. Which is why I thought it was a relevant story to share here.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it. Thank you, Andy. So as I mentioned off the top, we're going to transition into doing sort of a few episodes that are around the same theme. The last episode we did was on change management, and we got some good feedback on that. We're going to put notes together and come back with that theme in a few months. For the month of June, we're going to focus on some concepts around mindset. We're going to talk about abundance and scarcity. We're going to talk about being mindful and knowing when to ask to accept some humility and ask for help, and how you need to be a good sort of student of process, but be nimble and agile at the same time. So to tee all that up, this episode's going to be a little bit more about the general concept of mindset and what do we mean by that, and why is it important, and how do you practice it, and is it really something that's going to add value? Anything to add to that, Andy?
I think it's a really great idea to do this series thing, and I won't take credit for it because it was your idea that we should do a series on a focus topic, and I think it's really good because it allows us, I know we got a little bit inspired by the whole change thing, and there was opportunities to roll that into something else, but I think the concept of creating a series around this allows us to dive a little bit deeper and focus on a topic, which is something that we haven't been able to do, and we've been trying to squeeze things into just 15 to 20 minutes previously.
So
and I think when it comes to mindset, that is a really important topic when it comes to sales and business as a whole. That your mindset does need to be right, and it does affect what you do, and it does affect your success. It does affect your interaction with the customers, with your staff, with your teams, with your colleagues, with your co-workers, and at home.
So before you just roll right into the topic there, what do you want people to sort of take away from this preliminary conversation?
I think it's about understanding the value of mindset and how to keep it front of mind as something that is important.
And I want people to think about actually dedicating some time to being mindful. This is not necessarily about mindfulness, although that comes into play. But I think that the energy that you are able to embody, that you generate for yourself, has a huge impact on the business, your colleagues, your clients, your adherence to process, your success in the moment, your acceptance of I won't the word I want to say is defeat, but setbacks or challenges, and even your appreciation for success as it comes. So how does, in your mind, mindset complement and contrast strategy, tactics, process?
It precedes all of those things. Yeah,
that's the first thing that you would.
It's absolutely the first thing. If your mind is in the wrong place, then everything else that you do is not going to work as well as it could do. It's not going to give you the opportunities or results or outcomes that you are looking for in the same way as it could be if you had your mindset in the right place.
So then our topics, I think, in the coming weeks are going to get into some of those specifics more so.
Yes.
So avoiding going there just yet, what is your advice when you haven't got your mindset right?
It's being aware that you haven't got your mindset right. It's being aware of the circumstance that you're in, that there's an external factor affecting how you're thinking, how you're approaching it. You're rushing into it. You haven't prepared. It's like, if you're going into a sales presentation, you wouldn't go into it. Well, hopefully the listeners wouldn't go into it having not, been very familiar about the circumstances that they're going into that discussion about. They should understand the customer's needs and challenges. They should understand the reason that they are there to talk to them. They should understand the potential value, or they should be going there with the mindset of, I want to help these people, or I want to see if I can help these people. I want to see if they have a problem I can help them with, whatever it may be. But it's being aware. What is your mindset going into that meeting, going into that event, going into that strategy planning session, going into that discussion, going into dinner with your family? It's important. If you've just had a really stressful email and then you sit down at the dinner table with your family, that stress, that anxiety, that is going to come across, and it's going to impact your day-to-day life. And so being aware of your mindset, being able to control your mindset, being able to focus on your mindset and have that self-reflection will improve not only your business life, but your personal life as well.
Couldn't agree more. I love the fact that you've said it that way. I was in a moment yesterday where it was a very tense business situation, and then I immediately had to switch gears within minutes to a personal errand and appointment. And I actually said to the person I was about to meet with, I'm like, I'll be there in 5 minutes. I'm just running late. I wasn't, but I needed just that time to refocus. And I didn't want to set that aside or ignore it or dismiss it or too quickly move on from it. I know I have to come back to some unresolved situation there, but it's not the energy that I want for myself to be productive in the next moment. Oddly enough, it involved picking up my kids, and my son, who's a teenager, was like, "Dad, you okay?" Like, he could just sense that it wasn't quite sort of normal dad in the moment, right? So it was clearly I had not done a good enough job of refocusing. But maybe it didn't. I had refocused enough, but it was not so much that it was not enough that he had noticed. I was going to ask you some follow-up question, which has now left my train of thought here. In terms of mindset, how do you get yourself into the right mindset for? It's coming back to me now. Sorry. Culture. Okay. And I think even another sort of theme. You said you preempt all of these other sort of activities with the right mindset, and that made me think about actually acknowledging that it needs to be part of your culture, that it needs to be woven into the way that we work, what we expect of ourselves and each other, and it is part of our brand. And if you can do that, then it just makes it that much easier to support each other. And I think it strengthens what you've got on offer.
Yeah, I think you're right. It is very hard, though. I mean, for people to just switch off. You're bombarded with I don't know, with challenges at home, that the kids aren't getting ready in time, that the suddenly the electricity bill was 4 times what it was supposed to be because of inflation or bad management, or the kids left the vacuum cleaner on for 2 months or something, whatever it may be, right? Totally random things there. But my point is, there's always external factors that will challenge you, will put pressure on you, will make you focus on the wrong things, that will put you in a mindset that is negative, that is stressful, that is short-tempered, and you're panicking about all these things. Very often as well, there are a lot of us in this industry, we like to be in control of things. We like to plan things. We like to know what we're doing, how we're doing it. When an external factor comes in and challenges that, if we're not able to clear our mind and focus our mindset to allow ourselves to adapt to that change and that challenge when it comes in, it will end up becoming a much bigger thing than it needed to be. And so it's very important to be self-aware, and it's very hard. It's very, very hard, and it takes a lot of practice. But the sooner you start, the sooner you'll get better at it. And it's the same with anything. If you don't practice it, then you won't be good at it. But if you do practice it, you will. And same with mindset. Got to take that time. You've got to breathe. You've got to focus. You've got to allow yourself the opportunity to recognize that you're in a bad place, that you're in a challenging place, and give yourself that space, that time necessary to refocus.
Now, I want to qualify everything. I completely agree with everything that you just said. I think we've kind of inadvertently gone down this path where mindset is about addressing challenge, but I think it's just as important to properly acknowledge that this is the context for each moment, the context for each appointment, the context for each call or conversation that you're having, the context for each day.
Yeah.
Is this, are we celebrating something? Do I need to consciously go, you know what, my mindset right now needs to detach from some of those challenges and conflicts, because we're here to celebrate, we're here to acknowledge, we're here to be grateful, we're here to be welcoming. And so I think that's the message that I want to make sure comes through, is really intentionally thinking about, where do I need to be mentally to be the best self I can be and contribute. And sometimes it's not to be a leader, it's to be open-minded and be and be the sponge and be ready to listen and not be the loudest voice in the room. I don't know if you've ever done that. I've never done that. What is that like?
You're completely right. The key is become aware of your own mindset and get in control of your mindset, so that you can be aware where you are and get yourself to where you need to be. My point with the challenge side of things and introducing that is very much on the basis of, if you can be aware of your mindset, if you can be conscious of your mindset, then no matter what the challenges are that come in, you can recognize it, you can recognize where you are, and you can much better deal with it than you would do if you were not focusing on mindset.
I think that's a great summary of where we've where this conversation has gone. And just to bring it back to my initial point, it's like, you know, put some space in your day for these shifts in energy that you need to know you need to bring forward as sort of the sequence of events in your day changes. And if you have them, like, you know, my calendar's bounces all over the place, but other people, it's one thing at home, it's one thing at work, or it's less dynamic. But I think it's really important. Thanks, Andy. Great chat. We'll get into the specificity. I think we're going to get into abundance and scarcity next. Those are two really powerful mindsets that we'll explore a lot more on the next episode. So
a very important place to start. I think that's going to be great, and looking forward to exploring this a bit further with you as we continue in the month of June.
Thanks, everybody. Drop us a note at tandtimbits.com. Check us out there. You can listen to all the episodes, subscribe, and all the rest. Thanks, Andy. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers.